Wonderful. All right. Well, welcome to the 2024 Kindergarten Parent Orientation. Thanks very much for joining us this evening. I'll run through just our agenda first. So let me just, sorry. Oh, that's gone way too quick. First of all, I'll introduce the team, or this year's kindergarten team, and our principal, and then I will move on to our acknowledgement. And then we can move through the agenda that's on the screen now. So we'll go through our Engadine West Public School pedagogy, transition, best start, before starting school, uniforms, on the big day, curriculum, lunch boxes, appropriate play, parent information session, and communication. Finished off with a Q&A at the end where you guys will fire a whole heap of questions at us and we'll do our best to answer it. So we're all prepared for next week and moving forward next year. So I'll start off with our acknowledgement. As we gather today in this special place, together we acknowledge the First Nations people, the traditional custodians of this land. We should always remember that under the buildings, concrete and playground, the land was and always will be home to the Gweagal people of the Darawal Nation. Together we pay respect to elders both past and present and to the young people of today as they embrace their connection to country. Okay, now we have our principal, Sue Roach, joining us. Thanks for giving us a wave, Sue. Now, our 2023 kindergarten team, which is this year, we have myself, I'm Marie Sterling, I'm the assistant principal on Early Stage 1. We have Kelly Way, give us a wave, Kel. Great. We have Leah Duncombe, she can give us a wave too. And we have Tonya Doman, waving away. Great. All right, so let's kick it off so we don't keep you all night. I'm going to hand you straight over to Sue Roach, our principal, and she's going to talk through our Engadine West pedagogy.
Thanks, Marie. Welcome, everyone. Although we can't see your faces, we're very grateful that you're here tonight. Some people may have come to the meeting that we had in the library earlier this week. But if you did do that, then you're hearing some of this information for the second time. You might be consolidating your knowledge. You might be sharing it with someone else in your home. So welcome back. And for anyone who's very new to our school community, a very warm welcome to you. It's lovely to be engaging with you, and we look forward to engaging with you in person and with your children as this year progresses and certainly into next year. And then, of course, we have a lovely group of families who are returning to us with their second, third, maybe fourth child coming to school. Welcome back to you. You'd be familiar with some of this information, but at the same time, we hope you get something new out of it as well. So welcome, everybody, and thanks, Marie, for the invite, and thank you to the team for being here this evening. So Engadine West Public School, what's the purpose of this? The purpose is for you to understand us a little bit more, what we're about, and what it's all about coming to kindergarten next year for your child. At our school, we have a very strong vision about building resilient and confident students so they can really engage with their future. And their future, started way back, obviously, but their future in their education, their formal education, starts with us next year. And we want to create opportunities for your children to be really successful. We're highly committed to the success of your children, and we believe that a strong foundation in literacy, numeracy, and well-being leads to personal growth. We're very strong in the belief that we are a learning community, and we have a shared vision with our families at home and between our families and between us at school. And that partnership and that collaboration all builds on that strong foundation for growth. We are a PBL school. You might have seen that around and in some literature online or in our handbook. And PBL means positive behaviour for learning. We treat behaviour like the curriculum. So we teach all the areas of the curriculum, just like all schools do. What we do slightly different to other schools is teach behaviour very specifically as curriculum. So just like teachers will teach English and maths with very explicit outcomes, very explicit strategies and outcomes that we're trying to actually achieve and assess, then we do that with behaviour as well. So we're very explicit. We have lessons, we have expectations, we reteach things. Positive behaviour for learning means not always going down the punitive side. Stop doing that, don't do that, do that differently. what we try and do is reteach children, teach them in the first place, reteach if they need to learn something differently. Running in the playground where there's, parts on the asphalt that we encourage students to walk, we're not yelling out at kids. We're actually saying, is this a safe place to be running? What could you do differently next time? Those sorts of questions. So we build the capacity of our students to understand and their skill-based learning as well. We do use rewards, obviously. So yes, there is a behaviour code and a behaviour expectation. And through the Positive Behaviour for Learning program that we have at school with these explicit expectations, we have rewards that eventually lead to a whole school celebration. For example, 2 weeks ago, students get ongoing for achieving expectations, small PBL tokens, and they are tipped into a very large tube that's in our hall. And once that tube overflows, the whole school gets to celebrate and the whole school gets a reward. And that happens from time to time throughout the year. And those rewards can be things like extra playtime on a one-off occasion. It could be teachers all out playing with students. It could be a movie in the hall, all sorts of different things, a mufti day. And that is led by our students who are our Student Representative Council, our student leaders, lead that initiative as to that whole school reward. It's very uplifting, very celebratory. And I can honestly say that all students in our school understand what the PBL expectations are. And our 3 core values, our 3 core expectations: be safe, be a learner, and be respectful. Be safe, be a learner, and be respectful. And these are constantly talked about. I run an assembly with our teachers every Monday, and we talk about the expectations for that week. And teachers and educators all throughout our school reinforce those values or those expectations every week and reward students with those little tokens, as I was just saying. The PBL system, the advantage of it is that we all have a common language, including the students. So it's very clear what we need students to do to be safe, to be respectful, and to be learners in our school. And they're very involved with their voice, they're very involved in how we do those things in our school. And of course, it's not just, like I said, it's not just behaviour that we teach as curriculum. The literacy and numeracy are the 2 core curriculum areas. And I know one of our team's going to talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute. The other thing I wanted to say, just to kick off before I hand back over to the team, is that it's really important that we have shared information between us. So if you're thinking, you're sitting there going, oh, I'm not really sure about this little piece of information, should I share it with the school? The answer is always yes. Please share that information with us. It might help us do something better. It might help us understand your child a little bit better. It might get us asking some questions of you so we can clarify how we can make something smoother, how we can help someone's understanding of something. It might relate to health, it might relate to learning, it might relate to a well-being issue, it might relate to a family issue. So please don't hesitate to contact us and we can talk through any information that you would like to share with us. If we've already had a meeting with you, some families we have had face-to-face individual meetings about additional needs, either physically diverse or neurodiverse issues that your child may be facing, then we welcome those meetings with you to more deeply understand you, your family, your child, so we can make that transition to school a really smooth process for your child, but also for you, and that helps us accommodate whatever needs there are. So if you'd like to contact the school or contact any of us directly, ring the school, however you'd like to make contact, we welcome that in your own time, and we'll set up a meeting to discuss that with you further. I'll be back in a little while to talk about some extra things, and I'll now hand back to Marie. Thanks for having me here again. I look forward to chatting a bit later.
Great, thanks, Sue. All right, I'm going to quickly talk about transition. So transition is a great opportunity for your child to visit big school, a successful transition helps improve a child's education and social outcomes. And it's important that during transition, especially during drop-off, that you're positive and you're happy and you're confident when leaving your child. If you quiver, if you think, yeah, it's okay, it won't be long, and you show any weakness, it's going to make it really difficult for us to pull them away for transition. So really positive, sort of fake it till you make it. You can get out the gate and fall apart, that's okay, but just be really positive when you drop them off. So transition is happening next Tuesday and Thursday. Let me see if I can get my screen to click over for me. And you would have received a letter already with a transition time. They're happening in 15-minute increments. So we don't have the whole cohort turning up at once. We'll be coming through in 3 different groups, which allows us, with all hands on deck, allows us to make sure that if there's any additional needs of students, that we're all on deck to help. Those students come into class, we settle them down, and then the next group shall arrive. Transition goes for an hour. And then we'll bring them back to the fake grass next to the care centre, and we'll meet you there. And on the Thursday, they'll get to visit the canteen and get a cookie, which is always a highlight. So make sure they definitely make that day. If you're unable to make transition, that's okay. Things happen. If you could just contact the school, and I'll give you a chat. Make a phone call, have a chat about possibly some things we could do to help your child prepare for coming to big school. So you would have received the timetables in an email, so it's a good idea to run through those timetables so your child's prepared for what's coming when they get here. And they will get to come into the kindergarten classrooms. They'll get to go to the library. We'll have a little tour around the school. So, yeah, it's a really good opportunity for them to come and also to meet other students that are starting with them next year. So that's transition. Hopefully we'll see you all next Tuesday and Thursday. I'm going to hand over now to Leah Duncombe. She's going to talk about Best Start.
Thanks, Marie. Hi, everyone. So from the start of Term 1, 2024, all of the kindergarten students will be participating in their Best Start interview. And the Best Start is to assist children to move smoothly from informal to more formal learning. And it's also a time when the teachers develop a rapport and relationship with each individual child. So the kindergarten teachers will observe the students completing a range of tasks, assessing where to start teaching literacy and numeracy with your child. So it's not a test, and we think that's really important that you realise it's not a test, and the children do not pass or fail, and you don't need to do anything beforehand. So there's no preparation required at all on your part. But we'll just take the time at the beginning of the year to find out how each child works with books, letters and numbers. In Best Start, all kindergarten teachers use the same set of observation tasks across all of the New South Wales public schools. The interview will take approximately 30 minutes to complete. So you're able to wait up near the office. There might be something for you to do up there. You might need to fill something in, but if you're able to wait, we'll take your child to the room and then be back in about 30 minutes. So it's just a process where we'll observe and record what your children already know, what they understand and can do, and then we'll use that information to guide our teaching when we start more formal lessons. After the Best Start, your child's teacher will provide feedback on what your child can do and how you can support your child's learning also. And these interviews will be during Term 1. In December, you'll receive a letter indicating your child's interview day and time, and you'll be required to bring your child to school for the interview and wait until the assessment is completed before taking your child home. And this just ensures that we have a really positive start at our school for all the children and their families, and we're all looking forward to working with you all. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Leah. Okay, I'm going to hand you over now to Tonya Doman, and she's going to talk about before starting school. Thanks, Ton.
Thanks, Marie. Hi, everyone. I'll just be talking about a few practical things that you can do between now and when your child starts school. It's normal for you to feel worried or anxious or apprehensive, especially if this is your first child starting school. But we encourage you to really try to talk positively. And as Marie mentioned earlier, try to hide any of those hesitations you might have because your child will feed off that. So try as much as you can to talk positively about their start to school. If it's your first child coming to school, make sure that you drive past the school lots over the Christmas break, point out the school, talk about that that's their new school that they'll be attending. If you already have a child at our school and you haven't already done so, we encourage you to start bringing your child into the school for school drop-off and pick-up so that they can become familiar with the school grounds, point out the kindy playground, point out the kindy classroom so that they're more familiar with it in the next coming months. Before the end of the year, you'll receive a letter with the name of your child's teacher. And this year, you'll also have included a short social story, which will include a photo of your teacher. So we encourage you to pop that in a prominent place in your home on the fridge and refer to it daily over the Christmas break. Look at the photo of your classrooms at your child's teacher and refer to them by name in the coming months. Make sure you have everything ready, everything that you need, the uniform, the school bag, lunch boxes are all ready to go. Practice wearing the school uniform over the holidays, especially the school shoes. It's really difficult after the Christmas break and the heat of summer, after we've been swimming and in thongs, to then come into school and have to wear socks and shoes all day. So we encourage you to practice, get your children to wear the shoes and practice them every single day over the Christmas break. Practice packing their school bag and unpacking their school bag. Those simple things really help your child with their independence when they start school, so that their ability to be able to unzip their bag independently, to take out their lunchbox, to take out their drink bottle, to put their lunchbox back in and their drink bottle back in, their hat, and zip their bag back up. They're all the little things that if they can do confidently before they start school, it really helps them for their beginning of school year. Kel will talk a little bit later about lunch boxes and practicing those. If you're purchasing the school bag, the green school backpack, it might be worth hanging something on the side of your child's bag so that it's easily recognizable. So a little hanging toy, a key ring, something that will help your child to recognize their school bag when it's amongst a sea of green school bags. And the final thing I just want to touch base on that you can really help with are toilets and talking to your children about the toilets. If your child has attended daycare or preschool, they'll be used to going to the toilet where it's like a communal area where they've got multiple toilets in one area. So when the children come to school, we have in the girls' toilets and the boys' toilets, we have the individual stalls. So we talk to the children about how there's only one child in a cubicle at one time. So we often find at the beginning of kindergarten, we'll hear that we've got 3 girls in one toilet stored together. So which is not a surprise if they've come from preschool or daycare where they've got an open toilet. And even at home, we're all parents and we know that it's hard to go to the toilet on your own. So even that for them is quite normal, but we have a PBL focus and a rule that states that we have one child at a time in a cubicle. So if you could start using that language with them, now that really helps. And the final thing about toilets is if you have a young boy coming to our school, we also have urinals in the boys' toilet. So if your son hasn't had experience using a urinal, that might be a job for dads over the break to head out somewhere where there's a public toilet and a urinal and start practicing those skills and how to use those. Thanks, everyone. I'll hand back to Marie.
Thanks, Don. All great information. All right, Kelly Way is now going to talk through our uniforms. So I'll hand you over to Kelly.
Thanks, Marie. Hi, everyone. So in 2023, our P&C initiated changes to our current school uniform in order to provide a more gender-neutral option. It will also be lower cost to families. It is a little bit modernised with a cohesive colour palette, and it reduces the number of items available. So the school community was surveyed for information and feedback, and we have the final new uniform is I think Marie's about to pop it up on the screen. There it is. So we will still have the tunic available for the girls. That's the dress in the middle. And then we will have the polos with either shorts or long pants, and that will be for boys and girls, and that will be winter and summer uniform. Our other uniform items will remain the same. So we have the zip fleece jacket, the V-neck fleece jumper, the microfiber jacket, sports uniform. That gold polo is only for children in years 3 to 6. K-2 will be given a colour for their sport shirt. It will either be blue, red, yellow or green, and they will have that same coloured shirt for sport throughout their whole K1 and 2 school years. And then when they move on to year 3, they'll have the gold polo. We have the sports shorts with gold stripes, the sports skirt and the long microfiber track pants. So that all of those items are available in the uniform shop. And then the new items are coming. We have the backpack, the Engadine West backpack, which is really great. It's a great size. It fits a lot in it. We have the cap, bucket hat, an excursion bag, library bag, although you can use any library bag you like, really. Paint shirts are available at the uniform shop, but again, an old t-shirt is suffice. The rain poncho is amazing for those rainy afternoons and mornings, and they cover the whole backpack, and they're much safer and easier to use than an umbrella. That we have scarves, gloves, hair accessories. The shoes are all black leather shoes. And on sports days, the students will wear runners, such as joggers, sneakers. They can be any colour. We just ask that you avoid, really bright neon type colours, or the shoes that have the light up soles. And the socks will be white, so crew quarter socks in white. The uniform shop will be open. So, sorry, just on the top there is the sports uniform for the K-2s in those coloured shirts. There's the paint smock and the rain poncho. The uniform shop will be open next Tuesday during the transition time between 9:45 and 11:30. And that's where you can buy those items that are remaining the same. And the new uniform is due to arrive late November, early December. And at that time, the uniform shop will be open 2 times. One will be an AM time and one will be a PM time. And you'll be able to come up and try on, order, purchase those new items, all ready to go for the start of 2024. That's it from me for now. Thanks, Marie.
Great, thanks, Cal. Okay, I'm going to hand you over back to Sue Roach, and she's going to talk about on the big day and a plan that you need to make for yourself.
Thank you. So that's a great slide, isn't it? Keep calm and make a plan. And I strongly endorse that. So the big day's coming, and there's some things that you'll be undertaking the night before. And I suggest to you, you do a few little things just to make things calm, but also to make it a little bit exciting as well for your child. If you can, and there's space, lay out the uniform, your child's uniform. So this is the big day for the very first day of school, of course. So lay out your child's uniform, do it with your child, talk about the pieces of uniform that they're going to get dressed. And if you're really, really lucky, at about 5:30 in the morning, they will have already been up, gotten dressed, and be knocking on your forehead saying, come on, get up, it's time to go to school. And then by about 7:30, they'll be lagging a little bit. But it's always lovely to have that feeling of excitement in your house the day before, the night before, and then, moving into the morning. If you can make your child's lunch and their morning tea the evening before and pop it in the fridge, and so your child knows exactly what they're going to eat. And I know there's going to be a little bit more conversation from one of the team in a minute about packing food and what to send for your child. Help your child pack their school bag the night before so they know what's in there and there's no rush or pressure in the morning. And it's always a good idea to have a spare pair of undies and some socks. And if you're wearing shorts, your child's wearing shorts, then that's a good idea as well to have a spare. On the big day, so we've done this collectively probably hundreds of times before. welcoming children and welcoming families on the very first day of school. And it can be challenging because there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of emotions for your child, and there's a lot of emotions for you as well. And whether it's your first child or your last child coming to school, it can be a little bit different. So have a plan about who's coming to school on the day, what time you're leaving, what time you're going. And we find that nowadays, the more children who have been to preschool and daycare, the more easily that they do separate from their families on that morning and come into school. But there's often still, sometimes, not often, I would say sometimes, there's a couple of children who are a little bit wobbly, a little bit teary. But please be reassured that because we have done this so many times before, that we'll take really, really good care of your child. The teachers are experienced, they're knowledgeable, they're very caring and very kind. And if we feel that we need to contact you because your child is distressed, we'll certainly do that. The flip side of that is that if your child is distressed and they then calm down, we'll give you a call about that as well. So you feel quite comfortable and confident that your child's being really well taken care of. Talk to your child about where you're going to pick them up and what time you're going to be back. So explain to them that, to reassure them so they're not too nervous about, I will be back, or dad or mum or grandma, whoever it's going to be, will be back to collect you this afternoon when the bell goes. And that way they'll be going, okay, I've got a time frame basically in my mind. I know that someone's going to be here to take me home at the end of the day. And our most recent experience has been that the tissues aren't really needed for the students, but sometimes they're needed for the parents. So what I say to you there is have a plan of what you're going to go and do after you drop off in the morning. Maybe you're going to go for a walk, maybe you're going to go for a coffee. And I did hear from one of the parents who was at the library orientation meeting on Monday that there's already a Facebook page for Kindergarten 2024, so you can probably find that. And that's not a Facebook page associated with the school so much, but it's a parent initiated Facebook page so people can communicate, keep in touch, ask questions, organise play dates, that sort of thing. But I do understand that there's a plan for a lunch somewhere locally for families who don't have work commitments on that day. You might like to get together. But so just check out that Facebook page, but definitely have a plan for your child, as I explained, and definitely have a plan for you that will keep you occupied. You won't be worried about your child. It might be a little thought that you might be having, but it won't be consuming for you, because we have had some experience where parents have been quite distressed. 9 times out of 10 not, but just as an idea for you to hopefully reassure you throughout your day that things are going to go really, really well. And on the morning too, we'll provide an opportunity for you to take some photos. We have a lovely big EWPS sign, and we'll be able to, we'll have that out for you down on the grass near the before and after care centre. So don't forget to take some photos. Don't forget to bring whoever's special in your family to come and have photos with your child on the day. It's a lovely thing to be able to do. So have a plan the night before for your child and for you and your family at home. Have a plan for your child in the morning, and have a plan for you as well. Thanks, Marie.
Great, thanks, Sue. Okay, now I'm going to cover, let me just flick this over. It always goes 2 slides, I don't know why. Still perfecting my Zoom skills. I'm going to talk to you about curriculum. So our days here at school are separated into 3 sessions. We have the morning session, the middle session, and the afternoon session. The morning session is an English focus, and we use the Initial Lit program, and it's an evidence-based literacy program providing children with like an essential core knowledge and building strong foundations by using synthetic phonics. Initial Lit is a 3-year program, so students do Initial Lit in kindergarten, year 1 and year 2. And then the Initial Lit program is supported by handwriting, speaking and listening, writing and reading. For reading in class, we use decodable text. Decodables are used in beginning reading for reading instruction, and they're carefully sequenced to progressively incorporate words and sounds that we have learnt in class. So we give the students the skills for them then to implement into their reading.
Hi, how
now
are you? Good, thank you.
I'll just ask if someone can just mute there. Thank you. Now, to support in-class learning, we ask parents to use Decodable Readers Australia. It's a web platform that can be used at home, and the books on that platform are unlocked by the teacher. It's monitored by the teacher quite regularly. They're unlocked as we learn the sounds in class, so the students can show success at home with their reading. There's lots of different features. You can click on sounds and hear them, words. They can read sentences for fluency. So it's a great platform to use for home reading. We do ask, though, that it's a 5-10 minute session with your child, and something that's not done in bed for home reading. So home reading and bedtime reading, two different things. Bedtime reading is a fantastic opportunity for you to fluently read a bedtime story to your child and expose them to different vocabulary, to show them fluency when reading, to discuss different themes in books. That's a fantastic thing to do with your child, but something that's done at bedtime, and then their home reading's done 5-10 minutes at another time during the afternoon or the morning. So that's our morning session basically all tied up. The middle session, we focus on mathematics, and we have 3 main strands of number and algebra, measurement and geometry, and statistics and probability. And then in the afternoon, we basically squeeze everything else in. So creative arts, sport, health, science, geography, and history. So, and that pretty much keeps us busy at school each day. So, all right, that's curriculum. And then on top of all that, actually, we do teach PBL, which is our positive behaviour for learning. So it's we're busy. We're definitely busy at school each day. So, all right, I'm going to hand you over now to Kelly Way, and she's going to talk about lunchboxes. Thanks, Kel.
Thanks, Marie. So during that very busy day that we have 3 breaks to stop and eat. So we have our fruit break mid-morning around 10:30, and that happens within the classroom. And we ask that you pack a small fruit snack, such as chopped up apple or a banana or something that's relatively easy for the kids to eat. It can be carrot sticks, doesn't have to be fruit, it could be vegetables. And then we have recess at about 11:30-ish. The kids eat outside and play outside for around 20 minutes. And then at lunchtime, which is about 1:15, 1:15, we have eating time in the classroom for 10 minutes where we supervise the students as they eat their lunch and give them that time to eat their lunch before they go and play. We ask that you practice, have your child practice opening and closing their lunchbox during the Christmas holidays, and opening packaging as well. Of course, we help all the time, constantly. We help every time we go into the playground, we help kids open packets and things, but obviously if they can do it as well, it helps them to feel independent. So practice is good. Drink bottles, like the one on the screen there, something with a squeezy top or a straw is ideal, because we find that the drink bottles that you unscrew the lid, if they are to tip, they do spill out and make quite a mess. So those drink bottles are great. Please label everything, as lunch boxes and drink bottles often are left in the playground. So if they have a name, we can quickly find out where it needs to go back to its owner. Don't worry if your child doesn't eat everything throughout the day. Like I said, we do supervise their lunchtime eating, so we help them and make sure they're eating the right thing at the right time. And we also have our canteen available for lunch orders on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. And you can order that those lunch orders through Flexi Schools, but Marie will talk further about Flexi Schools a little bit later on. Thanks, Marie.
Thanks, Kel. Okay, next I'm going to hand you over to Tonya Doman, and she's going to talk about appropriate play.
Thanks, Marie. Just following on from Kel talking about eating time, when the children are out in the playground, just to reassure you that in the first weeks of kindergarten, we have an area of the school that is specifically for the new kindergarten students. So the other children in the school aren't allowed to come into that area, and we limit the kindergarten children to that area just as to allow them to become familiar with each other and to develop those social skills, make new friends in those first few weeks. So the timing of that is dependent on the children. So we monitor the children and we watch them closely. And when we feel that they are ready to venture out into the wider playground with the rest of the students, then we do allow that. But we keep, for a bit longer, we keep that area open so they can come back to a safe space if they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So just to reassure you all that your children are very well looked after in the first few weeks at playtime. In case you have that concern about them leaving the smaller environment of their daycare or preschool, we do have those systems in place to make sure that your children are feeling supported. As Mrs. Roach mentioned earlier, we are a PBL school and we explicitly teach our expectations for play. And some of the examples of rules that we teach our children around play in the classroom and on the playground are that we keep our hands and our feet to ourselves. We speak to others how we would want to be spoken to. We use equipment for its intended purpose. We take turns and we share, and we encourage others to play. They're just a few examples from our PBL matrix of rules that we explicitly teach day to day in our school, and we revisit all the time with the children so that we're ensuring that they're playing beautifully together. One of the things that we wanted to speak to you about is toys at school. We understand that toys are a comfort for your child and they may want to bring a toy to school, and we're okay with that. We just wanted to put some rules around that. So we leave toys in bags and they're only allowed to come out at recess and lunchtime. That's so that they can focus on their learning and socialising and getting to know the structures of the classroom. So if your child does bring a toy to school for their own comfort, that'll stay in their bag and can be brought out at recess and lunch. We have a bit of a rule of thumb that a toy should be no bigger than their hand. This year we found that as the weeks have gone on, toys have grown bigger and bigger and they can't even fit into children's school bags. So best for those toys to be left at home. If your child wants to bring or show that toy for news, you can always take a photo and pop that into a message to your class teacher. Marie will talk about the program that we use where you can have a direct contact with your classroom teacher. So if it's a bigger toy for news, it might be best to take a photo and send that directly to the teacher and we can bring it up on the big screen in the classroom. We also can't unfortunately guarantee that the toy won't be lost or broken. So that's another reason why we discourage toys at school. But again, if it's something that brings comfort to your child, then absolutely they're allowed to bring it, but we'll just make sure they keep it in their bag till recess and lunch. The final thing that I'd like to talk about is mainly for boys, but also for girls. It's around rough play and play fighting and wrestling. There are a lot of Australian parenting authors who encourage that rough play and wrestling because it's really good for boys to connect with other people. It's an important way that they can learn some self-control. And I'm speaking as a mum of 3 boys. I know how important that kind of play is. But it would be really great if you could start having a conversation with your children about how that rough play is okay for home and with family, but at school, that kind of interaction is not allowed. It's part of our PBL focus. We keep our hands and feet to ourselves. So we don't encourage or allow rough play, play fighting or wrestling because we explain to the children that often can turn into real fighting and then children can get hurt. So we really discourage it. So if you're boys and girls enjoy that kind of play, that's great because psychologists are showing that that's useful for them, but we have to have boundaries around that. Thanks everyone. I'll hand back to Marie.
Thanks, Ton. All right, Leah's now going to talk to you about our parent information sessions next year. So I'll hand you back over to Leah Duncan.
Thanks, Marie. So I've got a date for your diary. So Monday the 5th of February will be an evening that you can come to your child's individual classroom, 3:45 until 4:45, and it's an information area. An information night for parents only. So each classroom will have their own night. And they'll be able to go through some information that will be specific to your child's class. So I'll just tell you some of the things that we'll talk about on the night. Classroom routines, for example, where your children can put their school bags when they get to school in the morning. What happens if it's raining, sending absence notes in when your child's been away. Then some general things about recess, lunch and fruit break, canteen money, if your child's having a birthday, things like if you're running late, what you can do of an afternoon. They'll talk about the Cater to Assembly, which is a virtual assembly, and then how you can contact your child's teacher if you've got any needs or concerns. At that information evening, they'll also talk about helping at the school if you'd like to be a canteen volunteer or help in the uniform shop, etc. They'll go through the class procedures for scripture, library and sport, talking about homework, how the class will follow the PBL system, student reports and contributions and payments. So that will be an information afternoon specific to your child's class, and it's a parent-only session in your child's classroom. So Monday the 5th of February, 3:45 until 4:45. Thanks, Marie.
All right, we're in the home stretch, guys. So I'm going to just chat to you now about communication at Engadine West. We have multiple forms of communication. Last week you were sent an email with some instructions on how to download the Audrey app. This app is used to push out messages to families, and it's a must. It's from things like buses are running late to we have mufti days coming up or reminders about excursions. It's a really great app to have with lots of useful information coming to you on a regular basis. We also have our school website, which has an abundance of great information. There's a kindergarten tab that has videos and lots of different content in there to help you. There's notes and forms on there as well, and lots of other information. It's absolutely a sea of information. So the school website's always a great place to go if you're seeking some information. Now, we also have Facebook, and we put things on Facebook that might be happening around the school from a week-to-week basis. Now, in the classroom, we use an app called Seesaw. You will receive a QR code Seesaw invitation at that parent information session next year. That will give you an opportunity to connect with your child's classroom teacher. You can send private messages between each other. You can send photos. It's a great opportunity for us to send photos back to you guys, especially in those first few weeks of school when you might be at home thinking about what's happening here and feeling a bit nervous or a bit anxious. We'll send you lots of photos so you can be reassured that everything's going okay. Photos can also be sent through on the Seesaw app for news as well, which makes it nice and easy if kids have something to talk about, a visual or a toy or whatnot. We also have the Flexi Schools app. Now, Flexi Schools is our P&C app, and it's where you can make payments for canteen orders. You can just log in there, select your child's name, and away you go. It's all done through the app. Payments sent through the app, and then labels are printed out in the canteen, put onto bags, and voila, it all turns up in our classrooms, wonderfully made and ready for the kids. It's also got on there any P&C fundraisers we have. So if we have sausage sizzles or discos, lots of different things like that, the P&C are always running. They get put onto the Flexi Schools app, and that's where payment and whatnot are made through there. So lots of different platforms that we use at Engadine West. So make sure you've downloaded them or uploaded the apps or whatnot. You'll probably need a whole separate folder just for school. I know I certainly do on my phone. There's apps upon apps upon apps, but all have really good information, all sort of have their different purpose. So that's communication sort of in a nutshell. Now it is over to everyone else for questions. If you have a question, feel free to pop it in the chat. You feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like to talk to us. Either way, we're happy to answer questions. So
Marie,
get
there's a
typing.
question in the chat box, and it's
Sure.
Alicia. Hi, Alicia. So before and after care, where
Yeah,
do
great
we
question.
get information, and how do we organise it if we need it? So before and after care is run by an external group to the school called Their Care. It used to be run by our P&C, but we've changed over about 12 months ago. It's been really successful, great company that we're working with. There's great carers in our before and after care centre. So to answer the question, the information for Their Care is on our website, and you can contact them directly through our website, or if you Google Their Care and you find our location, you can go in through there, and it's a very easy electronic form to register your child, and there is plenty of space for kindergarten students for next year. I hope that answers the question, Alicia.
Thanks, Sue. Kelly, we have a question about the uniform shop and when it will be open to try on clothes again. Could you just run through that information for me?
No worries. So
Thanks.
next Tuesday, the 31st of October, during that transition time, the uniform shop will be open between 9:30 and 11:30. And you can take your child down there, or you can go without them. You can try on the uniform items that will be remaining the same. And then further along, at the end of November, early December, when the new stock arrives, there will be 2 more dates announced that you can go and try on, order, buy the new uniform, and there will be one in the morning and one in the afternoon, but those dates have not yet been decided because we don't know exactly when the uniform will be arriving, but that information will be pushed out through the Audrey app. So please make sure you have that, because that's what Marie was saying. It's so valuable for those messages that you need to receive.
If Kel. And in that too, that the P&C are fantastic at running our uniform shop, and if you ordered the wrong size, it's too small, too big, just pop it straight back to the office, and they are happy to exchange it and turn it over. So it's not the be all and end all if we get a wrong size or whatnot. So we can certainly work with you to make sure that everyone's set and ready to go.
Hi, Jenny.
Okay.
So at the moment, we have a similar number of students to what we have this year. So Marie, exactly how many do we have?
72.
So we have 72 students anticipated enrolments for kindy next year. So you can see this year by our team, we have 4 classes, with how many in each class now, Marie?
About 17, 18.
Okay. So we haven't made some total decisions yet, or final decisions yet, about how many classes we'll have next year. It's a complicated mathematical staffing system that I work through, and we're just going to wait a little bit longer to see if there are further enrolments before we set the classes, because it's not just setting the classes for kindergarten, is also dependent on how many students we have right across our school. So I'm sorry I can't answer that more explicitly, but I'm anticipating something similar to this year. I'm just not quite sure yet.
Great. We have another question. What time does school start and end? That's a great question, because we need to get you here, and then I need to make sure that I'm not taking all your kids home to my place for dinner. So at 9 o'clock, a bell will go, and that indicates that there is a teacher on duty in the playground to supervise students before school. At 9:15, we have another bell that will ring, and that's an indication for parents to kiss and go. And that gives students an opportunity to play with their friends, to use the bathroom before coming into class. Class bell starts at 9:30. And then in the afternoon, the bell goes at 3:30 for home time. Those first week or two in kindergarten, the bell will go at 3:30, but we generally let the kids out about 3:27, 3:28, just a couple of minutes earlier, just before the rest of the kids hit the playground. It gives us an opportunity to put faces to students, parent faces to students, so we know who's going home with who, and we sort of get familiar with everyone, and the kids are able to sort of go out and find you easier before, you know, lots of other kids enter the playground. If your child is going to care centre, and lots of our kids do go to care centre, a member from our care centre normally comes up and gets the kids at 3:25 and takes them down to the care centre so they get a bit of a head start, washing hands and putting sunscreen on and getting afternoon tea before everyone else arrives. Good
Marie,
question.
I'll just add on to that to say that, so at 9:30, which is the actual official start time, if you arrive after 9:30, so at 9:30 we lock all the external gates on Warrenora Road and Ridge Road, and the only gate that's left open then, physically closed but left unlocked, is the main one on Buckle Avenue, and that's where you'd need to come in. So if you come in after 9:30, you need to come in through the Buckle Avenue gate. You need to get a late note, and that is the student's time is then entered into our system, and we monitor attendance. We monitor full day attendance, we monitor partial attendance, and then your child goes to their classroom after 9:30. So the gates are all then locked. We unlock the gates for parents to come on site at 3:25, so 5 minutes before the afternoon bell, so you can get in place where you're picking up your child. And we do this to avoid disruption to learning time. We want to make sure that all learning time is maximised at school, and families and friends and people who are picking up students are welcome to come on site just that 5 minutes before the bell goes in the afternoon. If your child needs to go home early, you need to come in through the Buckle Avenue gate to collect them, and please notify your child's class teacher prior to that, if you can. If you've got a medical appointment or something that's happening that you know you're going to have to pick up your child early, then let your child's teacher know, and your child's teacher will have them prepared, ready to go up to the office, maybe, you know, just waiting for you, or, you know, in transit for when you get there. Sometimes you have to pick up your child because there's an emergent situation. If you phone the office, we can organise your child, our students, your children. And also if you come in, then we ask you to remain in the office. Don't go down into the playground. Our fantastic office team will contact the class teacher, and your child will walk up to the office. So 9:30 till 3:30 basically, must be at school between those times, and anything after that in through the Buckle Avenue gate.
Great, thanks, Sue.
Can't see any other questions there.
I know, I can't either. They're being kind to us, I think.
But if you find we finish up in a few minutes and you find that you've got a question, then you go, oh, rats, wished I'd asked whatever it was, please don't hesitate to contact us. Email the school, contact the school. Many, many questions will be able to be answered by the fantastic office team. They have probably a collective knowledge base broader than all of us. If it's something very, very specific to curriculum and classroom activity, then of course your call or your email will be referred on to one of our wonderful kindy team in front of you here. But don't hesitate to contact us if you've got a question, a concern, something you want to raise, some information you'd like to share.
Okay,
Yes.
another question. Did we say there was a Facebook group for the Kindy 2024 group? I can't find it.
I understand there is.
Yeah, we do understand there is. If someone else is on the Zoom at the moment that knows the name of that group, if they could pop it on the chat, I'd really appreciate that. We're not part of that Facebook group, so I'm actually not sure what it's called. And every year it's slightly tweaks how the way they write it. It could be EWPS 2024
Yep.
or there we go.
It's up there now. Thank you. Thanks to all of the
great helpers. Thanks.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Sam. Good. Hope you all get to connect with each other if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Like to do. Don't forget that Facebook page, if you have a question that you need a really firm, solid source of truth answer. Not to discredit anyone on that Facebook page, but sometimes information can get a little bit lost, a little bit skewed. If you have a very direct question, can you please contact us and we'll be able to give you the exact information. More, that page is for connection, social, things like like I referred to earlier. But if it's a very direct information piece that you're not sure about, please contact your child's class teacher. No, you're not the only one who's wondering when the first day of
Yes, definitely
kindy
not.
is. We as educators in the Department of Education are still confirming exactly the first day, because at the beginning of the new school year, our staff have 2 school development days where we do professional learning and get ready for the year ahead. So we are just negotiating and working out the amount of time based on enrolments, the amount of time it will take for our students to undertake their best start assessment that Leah was talking about earlier. And then we'll determine the first day for kindergarten, and we'll be communicating that with you as soon as we can. I know everyone's wondering, do I need to take which day off work? How many days? What time is things going to be? No, you're not the only one who's thinking it. We're thinking it too. So we are working through that, and we're going to get you that information absolutely as soon as possible. Yes, Marie?
I was just going to say we're hopefully it's February, not January, so they know that now.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's hard to know 7th, 8th. We're gonna have to play it by
So
ear.
in the next couple of weeks, we'll have that resolved and we'll have that information to you. Thanks, Keely, for asking. And no question's a silly question. Ask us. Please ask us. And if you don't feel like I said, doing it now, just contact us. It's no problem.
Absolutely. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, thank you for those people that did ask lots of questions. Makes it nice and easy for us.
We hope you got some. Okay. Did you say letters have been sent out with the starting time for next week, not an email, Marie?
Yeah, I was. The office have said they've sent out letters in the mail.
So that would be to everyone who's got a physical enrolled. So if you're sitting wondering, I haven't got my letter, just contact our office team,
just give us a call.
and they'll be able to sort out all of that for you.
Great, no worries.
Thanks, Jess.
Well, if there's no more questions, I'd like to say thanks everyone for coming and joining us. Thanks, Mrs. Roach. I know you're off-site at the moment, so big effort from you to get to us from where you are. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Tonya Doman. Thanks, Kelly Way. Thanks, Leah Duncombe. I appreciate you guys taking time of the evening to come and join us and answer lots of questions and give lots of information. So thanks, everyone. We look forward to meeting all your little people next week. That's the best time for us.
Yes,
So
it's very
thanks
exciting
again.
time of the year. Very exciting.
It is, isn't it? Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.